Hey, I'm Nick from Defined Life, and this is our weekly Monday morning Let's Get Started video. This is our second week of doing it once per week every Monday morning. Hopefully, we will not run into internet issues today. Uh, trying to trying to make sure that we are internet stable here. So I'm working on that. Um, so let me, for some reason, this keeps popping up, working on things, technical issues, working on them. All right. So today I want to talk a little bit about entitlement and intention. So entitlement and versus appreciation, and intention versus aimlessness. So we'll get to that moving forward here in a little bit. But how was your weekend? Before we get into all the serious stuff, how was your weekend? Ours was pretty good. So this week was kind of our celebration weekend. We had Nicholas's 10th birthday fell on Friday. Lynn's birthday, I won't tell you her age, happened on Sunday along with Father's Day. So we had pretty much just like stuff Friday through Sunday. Even Saturday, kind of taking a breather, but then also preparing for Sunday was, kind of kind of busy but kind of fun, So it's funny, like and I know like people do things in different ways, but in Father's Day, like I didn't want to take the time off. For me, it kind of was a time for me to solidify and bring clarity to what it is to be a father. Like, so I didn't want to step away from all the fatherly stuff. I actually wanted to do it more with a little bit more intent, I think. Um, and so, I cleaned up the house before everybody woke up. I hung out with the boys in the backyard. We did things together. I made the food that the boys liked for lunch and dinner because that's kind of like what it means to be a father. Like, so it wasn't like, hey, everybody, I'm going to sit on a couch and you guys bring me beer, or I'm going to go golfing, see you later. For me, I enjoy Father's Day the most by being a father. And it's funny. I walked outside to the back patio this morning. I did my meditation on the back patio, and just walking out there was almost. Are you kidding me? Walking out there was almost like nostalgic to walk out there and remember everything we did yesterday. It almost made me feel kind of bad. So I and I had to think to myself actively that I can do it again today or tomorrow if I want. So it was it was an interesting experience, but it was a great day. It was a great day. We spent time together as a family. We relaxed, took a nap in the middle of the day at some point when everybody was just sort of tired of being together. But it was good overall, really, really good. So it was fun. It was fun. Let's see, what do we got going on in the comments here? We have Pam, good morning. Yeah, happy to be back. Absolutely. Angel, good morning. Facebook user, I'm guessing this is in the user group. Good morning. Good morning, Deborah. Good morning. You took a break this weekend, including a break from the internet. Good, good. Um, and Debbie, magnificent Monday. Happy to see and hear you. We had a quiet weekend and enjoyed the peacefulness. Yeah, absolutely. And this weekend kind of had me really observing energy. So I was very intentional about spending my time with family and doing things around the house. And then this morning I woke up with a lot of energy, focused on work. And it kind of got me thinking, I need to focus more on, I guess it's the leakage in energy, like when we kind of just are doing things but not doing things either good or bad. We're just doing things and wasting energy and wasting time. And I think that's the dangerous stuff. And we'll get into that in a minute. But, the way I felt about it today is, looking at how the week generally progresses for the average person. is you start off Monday kind of strong, and then you just get worn down over the course of a week, and then you're just sort of looking forward to the weekend, right? And so the last end of the week, you're sort of just like, it's, if you're running a race, you start off really strong, you get tired towards hump day, and then Friday, you're dragging yourself over the finish line. And I think being more careful of our energy along the way, being sure that we rest and making sure we have that even amount of energy as much as possible through the week, the more we can do that, the better. And then I think recuperating over the weekend, if the weekend is a time for you to take off completely, recuperating, you know, like intentionally recuperating, can bring you a lot more energy on Monday. And so I kind of sensed that myself, where like this weekend I was focused on just enjoying my time with my boys and with Lynn. And by doing that, it brought a different sense to Monday this morning. So I'm going to have to be aware of that in my own life. And it's probably something to explore more moving forward as we get through everything we're going through this summer. Um, Good morning, Kathy. If I didn't already say it, good morning, Sophia, or Sophie, I'm sorry. Good morning. Brenda says, had a low energy day yesterday, hoping for more energy today. Yeah. And you know what? You know who talks about this? And Kathy, you probably have heard this before. Brendan Burchard talks about it. And in fact, I think he was interviewed on Ed Milet a couple of weeks ago and he discussed it. That like we are not like we do consume energy, but like we have to look at ourselves as energy generators, right? And you have to look at yourself as kind of a power plant. And so if you feed in, I'm not like he doesn't like he explains this a different way, but the way I see it is, you feed in fuel into the power plant. So if you want healthy, fast, efficient burning fuel, you feed yourself well. But you have to look at yourself as somebody that generates energy, generates excitement, generates the proper emotions. If you do that, then you consistently do that and improve upon that, you can bring better energy to situations. It's the people that are always waiting for motivation and waiting for inspiration and waiting for things to happen. Those are the people that seem to be waiting forever and don't make it happen. Now, I understand like there's ebbs and flows and things. It happens to me too. In fact, it happened a lot over the past couple of months. But we need to be very focused on like, what am I doing today to create the proper energy? And I saw this very much yesterday, and I'm seeing it with my older boy right now. He just turned 10, and he's becoming a little antagonistic with my younger son, and it's causing him to get into trouble, right? Because I'm observing it, I'm trying to correct it, and then he goes into this pouting cycle where he's just upset that he got yelled at and in trouble, and causes his own kind of pain, if you will. And so, the explanation of the discussion I had with him this morning at the breakfast table was this, is that yesterday you had two paths. There was a third path that he wanted to be on. The third path was inside on his video games. But the two paths that were offered to him was one, you stay outside, you treat your brother nicely, you enjoy your time with family. The second path is you don't do those things, you're antagonistic, you are, a 10-year-old boy, really, right? But like you behave poorly and then you get in trouble and you refuse to do fun things with us. And then you sit in a chair and watch us do all those fun things. So that's option two. So option A, join in. Know you're going to have to do this anyway. So you join in and have a good time. Option two is you sit and pout and watch us have a good time. Option three, which is not really even an option, is sit on your video games all day. So, you have those two choices. So you can choose whether you're going to bring a positive energy, you're going to have fun, you're going to enjoy your day, or you're not, right? And we all make that decision every day. We're faced with circumstances we might not generally like, but we do have to figure out the best way to approach it. We have that responsibility, right? Might not be your fault, but it is your responsibility to handle it. And so we decide what kind of energy we're bringing to each day. And, that's the choice that I explained to him that he's making yesterday and that he can choose to make going forward. But there are certain guardrails that I'm going to be imposing on him. I'm not going to allow him to talk to his brother the way that he does. I'm not going to allow him to be on his video games as much as his friends might be on, or as much as he might want to be. We're going to have these guardrails, and he's going to have to decide how he's going to approach his day within those guardrails. So we have the same sort of things, and in my, in kind of like giving him some purpose is why I'm doing this. Why I'm doing this to him is that I don't want him to make the same mistakes I did. Everybody's going to make mistakes. I'm going to continue to make mistakes. He's going to make mistakes in life. But what I want to help him with is to not make the same mistakes I did. So make higher level mistakes, right? Make like, I'm going to tell you the mistakes that I made. Avoid these ones. You're going to come across other ones, and hopefully you'll be better equipped to handle those. So I'm giving him, like, as I explain this to him, why I'm doing this to him, I'm explaining to him the purpose for it. So there's a purpose to the pain is kind of what I'm trying to do with him. And we'll see if it works, but I'm not going to give up trying, that's for sure. Good morning, Janice. Good morning, Mary. And good morning, Sherry. Good to see you guys. I wanted to, Luann thought of this a couple of weeks ago, and it's actually been sitting on my desk every single time, and I always forget to do it. I want to read one of the pages from one of our books that we have here. We have these mindfulness journals on the website, kind of to help you along with some inspiration as you're going through your day. And this is the Do One Thing Every Day That Centers You mindfulness journal. And I just happened to open up to this page, and I thought it was very appropriate for where we are in the world right now. And so this is a quote from Norman Vincent Peale. Part of the happiness of life consists of not in fighting battles, but in avoiding them. Let me read that again. Part of the happiness of life consists not in fighting battles, but in avoiding them. And so pick your battles, right? Like we've talked about this in the past. We have limited Fs, according to Mark Manson. You can't hand out your Fs willy-nilly. Decide what's important to you and give an F about that, right? Invest your energy and intention and your focus in that. So that's kind of the, what I was talking to my boy about yesterday. Like, look, you can pick on your brother. You can do the things that are going to cause you to get in trouble. You can waste your energy doing that, or you can do something a little bit more fun. So that's my way of teaching him to, pick his battles. But, you can take this to the adult life in, battles we have with our spouses, with our coworkers, with people online and social media. Like at what point do you say, man, that's not worth me getting into? And so the prompts in this book on these pages, there's 2 prompts for 2 separate days. A battle I'm going to, let me read this again. I can't read and talk at the same time. Out of practice. A battle I'm glad I avoided at work or school today, and then you can write that in. And then the next day says, a battle I'm glad I avoided at home today, right? So, good stuff, good stuff. So I want to tell you, or I want to show you an example of one of those things that I think, I look at and I go, like, why? I just like when you read something online, you go, why? Like, what's the purpose of this, right? So here we have a post that we made a while back, and we ended up creating an ad out of it. It was just a way to kind of like 3 steps to get through like the Define My Day process without even buying Define My Day, right? So we're kind of just helping people out, like being intentional, right? And so a woman writes, fix your eyebrows, please. And so I guess she doesn't like my eyebrows up here. I don't know what's wrong with them. I mean, I think they're okay. I know now with COVID, I've had to trim them myself. Usually when I go get my hair cut, I get them trimmed a little bit over here because as I get older, they get a little bushy. I understand that. But I don't know what's going on with them. But my response to her was this. I'm fine with them. I'm sorry you find them offensive. However, your comment is neither welcome nor appreciated. And so this is going back to that like bad behavior thing that I feel like it's almost our duty to point it out now. Uh, the turn the other cheek, I don't think is appropriate anymore because too many people that feel they can say whatever the heck they want need to be shut down by people like this. So there's a don't feed the trolls is a statement going around because there's people that make it part of their job to try to incite other people into aggravation and upset. But there's other people that just sort of go around and say things to people that's not socially appropriate. Now, look, if my wife were to say to me, "Hey, babe, your eyebrows are getting a little out of control," yeah, all right, well, I'll take a look at that. But for a random person on the internet to feel that they have the right to say something to a perfect stranger about their eyebrows is ridiculous. And you see it a lot. It happens a lot with women, right? You can see people making comments, they're too fat, they're too skinny, all other things that they might say. In fact, Katie Sackhoff, who is an actress, posted something about a new motorcycle this weekend, and somebody commented on there, you're too skinny. Regardless of what people think, guys don't like that. And her response was something to the effect of, back in the old days, I was drinking, smoking, partying, and unhealthy. And now I'm more aware of nutrition, and kind of like maybe you should go research that. And regardless, I don't care. Right. And so it's this entitlement. And this is what brought me to this entitlement topic today is that people feel entitled to do a lot of stuff. And there's not really a whole lot that we're entitled to in life. I think that when you start feeling entitled about anything is when you start going off the rails. You're not even entitled to a meal today, right? I mean, like, we need to earn money to pay for meals, or like people need to be nice to us to give us a meal if we can't afford it. But we're not so much entitled to a meal. We're not entitled to a job. We're not entitled to health, right? People die every day of unfortunate events. We're like, when you start thinking that you're entitled and things are going to be given to you, then that's when things go off the rails. It's when people stop taking responsibility for what's going on around them. And when you feel entitled to criticize other people, when you feel entitled to have your way with other people, when you feel entitled to anything, it's when things start going wrong, right? And people that have an entitlement mentality that get into power, into leadership positions, those are the ones that start abusing their power. Because now they bring that entitled position into a place where they can impact hundreds, if not thousands or millions of other people. And that's how awful corporate leadership happens. That's how dictatorships happen. Because they feel entitled to do whatever they want, irregardless of what is happening to anybody else. So, one of the things that I think is wrong with us in our personal lives is as we start to feel entitled to anything. And what I would do is flip that mentality into an appreciation mindset. Stop feeling entitled to things and start feeling appreciative for what you have. And when you do that, you begin to see the world differently. If I feel that I am entitled to spend time with my family, or if I am entitled to have things given to me by my family just simply for being a father, yesterday is a different day for me. But when I appreciate the time I have with my family, when I appreciate all of the things I have with my family, Father's Day takes on a different meaning. And when I walk out on my patio today and I feel that nostalgia for what happened yesterday, and I can appreciate the fact that I can do it again today if I choose to. Things take on a different meaning and there's a different perspective. Where if I take on that entitlement mentality, I walk out onto that porch like, yeah, king of my castle, right? And in short, I'm a dick, right? And so, look, we've all been there. I've been there, right? I've been there. I think that's what offers me the perspective that I have now, is that I've seen both sides of it. I've been entitled. I probably still have entitlement mentality in certain parts of my life. But I see, as you shift it towards appreciation, things seem different, better, with more opportunity, with more purpose. I feel more satisfied with what I have rather than the dissatisfaction of feeling entitled, maybe not getting what I want. You know? Going along with that and going it back into like the way that I feel like I handled this weekend is the intention with what I did this weekend and the energy that is catapulting me into this week. So I intentionally relaxed. I intentionally spent time with family. I intentionally took a break. I didn't time block my weekend. I had a list of things I needed to do to set up for Nicholas's little birthday get together. I had things I needed to do for Lynn for her birthday. I had things that I wanted to do for Father's Day, but I didn't time block anything. I intentionally relaxed. I intentionally like let go, right? I wasn't aimless about it. And I think those two things are the yin and yang, the same way, entitlement and appreciation are too, right? Entitlement bad, appreciation good. Uh, Aimlessness bad, intention good. And when we're aimless, we're bouncing around in a bunch of different directions and we're wasting energy. We're expending energy and doing a lot of things, but not moving in the direction that's going to bring us more energy, right? We're not like, so like for me, a lot of days, like as I see myself feeling drained towards the end of the week, it's because I spent time being aimless, either spending too much time surfing the internet or spending too much time just kind of fiddling around the house, but not doing things that actually accomplish things. You know, when I accomplish a task or accomplish a chore or accomplish things for work, as I accomplish things, it brings that sense of satisfaction and it brings that sense of like just that like that energy that like I am moving forward. And when you have that momentum, when you're intentional about the things you're accomplishing and you can really observe that you're moving in a direction that you want to go, it brings you more energy. It brings you more inspiration and more purpose, and you start building that foundation to move yourself forward in the right way. But when you're aimless, when you're just doing things, you're expending energy. You're it's like it's almost like your life is becoming a black hole and you're like just kind of like sucking energy, right? And you're probably blasting out energy in a way, but you're not moving anywhere. And that is not good. And that results in us doing things that we regret, whether it's eating too much or it's saying things to people that we don't think we should have, or it's not spending the time with people we feel we should. It's commenting on people's eyebrows, right? Like if you had a sense of purpose, like unless you're like somebody whose purpose is to make sure everybody has great eyebrows, if you have a sense of purpose, you don't say something like that because it's not worth it. There's no purpose for it. And a person with good intentions, with intention in their lives, doesn't have time to go around commenting like that on somebody else's stuff. You know? So, my, what I want to leave you with in this whole discussion is that if you can minimize your time of being aimless, you will have more energy to do the things that you want to be intentional about. And if you minimize the things that you feel entitled to, you will begin to appreciate what you have. And I think if we can shift that balance daily, then over time, it will change our lives in an amazing way. And I think those are kind of like the core things, the core principles that have helped me change my perspective on life over the years. Again, not perfect in any way, still working on it every day and still seeing it in back and forth in my life as I have over this past weekend. And then trying to understand it a little bit more and build on it. Let's hit the comments real quick before I get into how affirmations fits into all of this. Sis is checking in. Got to run to DH in a dental appointment in a minute. We'll have to catch the replay. Good to see you, Nick. Good to see you too, sis. Thanks for joining us. Thanks for stopping by. Don't feed the trolls. Yeah, don't feed the trolls. Save that F. Yep. Debbie says, online comments that are unnecessary and can be harmful. For me, setting them straight about their unacceptable behavior is establishing boundaries for my own happiness. I do my best to treat others as I would hope they would treat me, but I don't have to accept their bad, disrespectful, or hurtful behavior. And so this is exactly the point, is that, and I think we have been, I think that's the problem, is why, like part of growing up, and as you're a child and getting older, as you're socialized, you learn what is proper and improper behavior. You'll say something, and generally the group of people will say, that's not okay. Or you'll behave in a way that people will say that's not okay. And you either adjust by correcting your behavior or you don't, and then you're sort of ostracized by society, right? But what's going on right now is that you have these people, especially these kind of like these people with no filter, that suddenly now have a voice on social media. And like the average normal person like you or I, will just see them and have that behavior where we just turn away from them and we go about our business. But the problem is other people engage with them and other people like support them, like because other people see this behavior and say, oh, that's cool because that's the way I feel. So they're finding a voice while not being shut down by the 99% of the population. And so we're allowing these people to continue to talk without like giving them that pushback that says this isn't okay, while all of their friends are allowing this behavior to continue and mushroom. And I think it needs to stop. I think like people, like the simple thing of like commenting on my eyebrows or commenting on Katie Sackhoff's weight or commenting on anybody's anything, it's not welcome. It's not necessary. I'm not going to pluck my eyebrows to make that one woman happy or whatever I need to do with them. I don't know. Are they bad? I don't know. I don't get it. But either way, I'm not changing them. They're fine. I don't need to fix them. And on my big list of things that I feel I need to fix, this isn't one of them. So, like, I guess put simply, keep your mouth shut. Keep your comments to yourself. You have to have a certain relationship to be able to say something like that. And if you don't have that relationship with anybody and you feel compelled to say it, well, maybe it's some awareness that needs to grow there, right? Angel says, downside of the internet is that people feel a sense of protection to be able to say the things they never would in person. Yeah, I think you're right. I think a lot of people are antagonistic in that way, right? Where they just feel like they feel compelled to do it. They wouldn't normally do it because somebody might punch them in the mouth in person, or at least yell at them. When you're behind a keyboard, they feel like they can say whatever they want. And that's a matter of, personal values. That's a big deficiency they probably have going on there. But I think they still need to have like that. Somebody like people need to say like, that's not okay. And I think the more people that say that's not okay, the less this happens. Good morning, Stacy. Thank you very much for today. I've been getting comments like that too. I'm finding I'm starting to get more peace in just the nicer posts and beautiful things, cutting people out online and in life. And so, yeah, this is it. So there's always a balance that we have to strike between, like you don't want to be the person that doesn't take feedback, but you also don't want to be the person who accepts everybody's feedback as equal, right? So you have to, like, if there's somebody you love and somebody that wants the best for you and they're giving you feedback, you can't simply say, I don't care what you think, I'm going to be me, right? Because that just makes you, like, if the feedback is valid, they might actually be giving you feedback that can help you improve. And by refusing that feedback, by being defensive or by whatever, you're probably straining that relationship and also missing the opportunity to improve. However, if there's some random person out there that doesn't know you offering you feedback, you might not want to even pay any attention to that at all, right? Because that person should not have the same standing in your life as somebody that you respect and love and that loves and respects you back, you know? So, it's, you have to pick and choose the feedback you get. And in fact, I heard this in a David Meltzer, was talking about this in a session that I attended with him. And so, and I don't remember where he heard this, but he says, advice, you have to let advice flow through your hand like a grain of sand or grains of sand. If you dump sand on your hand, a lot of it's going to spill out and you'll have a couple of grains of sand that stick, and those are the ones you keep. Now, even your parents might give you bad advice. Your parents might want you to be safe. Your parents might not be where you want to go. So you have to make that conscious decision all the time. What's good advice and what's bad advice, and growing the awareness of which advice to take and which not to take, and which comments and criticism and that sort of thing. So, unfortunately, or fortunately, for whoever this woman is, I won't be taking her advice on my eyebrows. As far as I'm concerned, she can take a hike. I will be leaving them just like this, and I may be even leaving them like this on purpose just to antagonize her. If you can't say anything nice, then don't say anything. Kathy, I agree with you to a point. And I guess, no, actually, I probably agree with you 100%. It's just that some feedback can be taken as not being nice. And sometimes it's the delivery, and some people accept advice differently. For me, from people I would respect, I'd rather not them. I'd rather they don't beat around the bush, right? Like, offer, you know, tell me like quickly, like, okay, Nick, I know you want this, but you're hurting yourself by doing this, or whatever. Like, if it's somebody I care about and I respect, and they have earned that ability to be direct, then be direct. Other people might need to be a little bit more gentle, or just like offer like an alternative. Like it just depends on where you are. And I think understanding, like, there's no rules for it. I think just understanding. But I guess, yeah, you have to do it with the intent of like being nice and wanting that person to improve, and not like just trying to knock them down because it feeds your own ego. So yeah, Kathy, I do agree with you with that. All right, so this week because we're not doing the lives every day now, I will be doing small videos that I'm going to release every day during the week. And so this week we're going to be talking about affirmations. And so, how do affirmations fit into all of this? And for me, my affirmations have been a way for me to rewire my thought processes so that when I am feeling entitled, I try to rewire that thought process to feel appreciative. When I am wired to be aimless, I'm trying to use my affirmations to rewire my thinking to be intentional. And so my affirmations could be something as simple as, I am intentional with my time. I am going in the direction that I want my life to go. And you can be specific there. I am moving toward blah, blah, blah. For me, for the long time, one of my affirmations was, I am providing my family with a good home or with a new home or something like that, right? I can't remember now. It's funny how that stuff just goes away on you. Um, but there's a lot of ways to frame an affirmation, but for me, it's about changing my thought processes to move toward the way that I want to be, right? So I am intentional with my time. Keeps me from being aimless. I appreciate the good things I have. Keeps me from feeling entitled, right? And so we use affirmations to kind of define for ourselves where we want to go in life and define the barriers that we will operate within. A lot of times, an affirmation can be a value statement. And so for this week, I'm going to talk to you a lot about what an affirmation is not. And I'm going to tell you how to come up with good affirmations for yourself so that you can try to rewire your thoughts a little bit, kind of rearrange the neurons in your brain to help you in whatever direction you want to go in life. And so I would ask you to review your affirmations now that you have written in front of your Define My Day book, and try to look at them now. Are they in alignment with where you want to go? That ultimate place that you want to be. Are they in alignment? And we'll go through some tips on how to handle your affirmations moving forward this week. So look for our videos each morning. I'm going to do like 5 or 10 minutes on a specific topic with affirmations as we move forward this week, each Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And we'll continue on that topic. I'm going to get into the comments here real quick before we take off for the day. So sometimes ill intent is obvious, but we should also learn to assume positive intent. And I think you're right? I think a lot of times we can get into arguments and we can get defensive when we assume because the delivery is bad. And I'll tell you, in our lives, like Lynn and I, that's happened with us, right? I mean, we offer each other feedback and the other one gets defensive. But if you are going to the same place, like if we are feeling like a team and we are in agreement in the direction we want our marriage to go, then feedback takes on this, like, I'm just trying to like make sure we're on the same page. Whereas if you're at odds and you're going in different directions, then feedback doesn't feel that way. And so, in our lives, we've had to train each other to feel that, like, or to understand that we have positive intentions with each other and it's not a negative intent. But a lot of people out there do have negative intent. I think it's fewer than we actually believe. People get defensive quickly for many reasons, and I think a lot of times it's lack of understanding and willing to understand where the other person's coming from. Stacy says, I don't need to agree with everyone or them me. Absolutely. I found people making comments like that have the tendency to do it again. Those are the ones that need to go for me. Don't want mean people in my life. And so you're right, Stacy. So you'll see, like you'll notice a tone. There are people that come and I block them all the time. There are people that stop by just to be a jerk. Those are the people I have zero tolerance for. Bye bye, right? There are other people that may not understand what they're doing. Those are the people that I would give a response like that to, like this response right here. I'm giving her that response. I'm not blocking her. I'm giving her that response because she needs to understand that that behavior is not appropriate, right? And now, if she comes back and acts like maybe somebody Stacy's talking about here, then that she might get blocked, right? So it just depends on the person's intention. If they're just trying to antagonize, bye-bye. If there's somebody that might not understand that they're kind of borderline there, then we have a conversation about it. But we don't have to agree. We don't have to agree on anything, but we can still have a conversation. And that's also a problem going on in society, right? Like we have people that, like we don't have to agree on everything, but we can still talk it out. It's these people that like, I say this, you say this, and we both think we're jerks for saying it, and we're never going to talk, and I'm just going to go in my corner and that's it. Like that's why society is where it is right now. We do need to have hard conversations, But both sides have to be willing to listen, right? Without insulting and without saying just mean things. Where are we at? I lost my place. Good morning, Sharon. Just got my exercise done. I'm reading Atomic Habits, and I have habit stacked exercise with breakfast. Yes. So I am on my third week of working out. I have not missed a day. I rearranged yesterday. I was going to do leg day yesterday, but I instead, because we were running around so much yesterday, and I did get a good amount of exercise according to my watch, I counted yesterday as aerobic work. And then today I did my leg day. And man, it's part of my morning habit stack too. And my legs hurt. I was hobbling up the stairs again today. But it feels good. It does feel good. And good for you for doing it. I'm on that train with you. So yeah, I feel you. April. Angel says, sorry, Angel. Angel says, I think this shows the difference between nice and kind. Being nice is important for people we don't personally know. Well, I like where you're going here. We have no right to say critical things about a person we do not know well. Being kind would include those critical things, but there are levels of what rights we have for that too. I want everybody to read this again. Like this is exactly the difference. And I've in the past said, like I don't like nice people because I feel like people that are being overly nice, it kind of sends off warning bells for me, right? I don't know why. I like straightforward people. So like I'm working through this on my own, right? I'm working through that stuff myself. But I love the way Angel's saying this. Nice is being like being nice to people is, you're being nice. That's it. But you don't have the right to be critical. When you're being kind, like it's not kind. Like you don't want to be an enabler with people you love, right? You're not being nice by not giving them honest feedback. You're being kind when you do that. You're being like when you can say to somebody, "Hey, look, I love you. I love you. Um, this is either bothering me, or I see you doing this thing, and I want what's best for you, and this is why I'm telling you this." Right? That's kind. That's being kind, and you're being nice to them by doing that. Right? You can't do that with somebody you don't know, right? Unless they really ask for it, which um, you know, most people don't. Pam says one of my affirmations is I believe in continuous improvement. I have a growth mindset. That's great. That's perfect. That is perfect. I love it. Somebody in the Facebook group says, what we focus on, we get more of too. See ill intent when it isn't there. And you're right. So, and it's funny, and you can see this with a lot of people. People that are mean see meanness in other people. People that are defensive will see defensiveness in other people, even when there's really not. So you kind of like, we understand emotions and sometimes project emotions into other people that we are feeling ourselves. And I've noticed that myself a lot. And I didn't even understand what defensiveness was for most of my life. And now, because I'm aware of my own defensiveness about things, I can so clearly see it in other people. And so now I can, like Lynn and I will be talking and somebody will observe somebody responding either on TV or through social media or in our lives. And we can point out they got defensive really fast. That's a touchy subject for them for a reason. Either it was the delivery of what was said or they're defensive. Like, even if it wasn't like something at them, they just got defensive. Like, it's a touchy subject for some reason. And so now Lynn and I can easily point that out in other people and in ourselves where, we're talking with each other and we can immediately say, like, why are you being defensive right now? And then it changes. Like, you can like sort of go like, I'm not, which then you're being defensive about being defensive. Or like you can say, well, I don't know. Why am I being defensive right now? And so we've kind of learned that in our own lives. But because we've had such heightened defensiveness, now we understand it best and can see it in other people easily. Um, and I don't know that that means we're projecting it either, but it's easily observable. But I think that happens in other areas too, unhealthy areas. You know. Debbie says, if I wouldn't invite them to my home or for supper, I don't let their opinions take hold in my mind. Very good point. I listen, try to see if there's anything positive I can get out of their critical comments, and then I let them go and continue on my way. Yeah, I think that's a great mindset to have. And I saw, who was it? Darren Hardy was talking about. We saw him at a Beachbody event years ago, and one of the things that he said that really stuck with me is that, like, you can have 1,000 people. Like, if you know 1,000 people, right? How many people in your life are actually openly critical of you, or like are wishing you to fail? And it might be like one or two people, and then like there's a bunch of cheerleaders that you have that are really rooting you on. You might have 5, 10, 20 people that really are wishing the best for you. And then there's like 960 people that couldn't care less. Like they're worried about their own things, right? They're just kind of going along their day and they're observing you. They're going, "Oh, that's pretty cool," or like, whatever. Like, but they're just kind of going on their way. So, with all of these people in our lives, we let like those one or two people that are jerks, and we stop ourselves from doing what we want to do for ourselves because of like these comments that we blow up into these big things from these little people, right? Meanwhile, we have all these other people that either don't care or are really rooting us on, but we edit our behaviors because of those little people. And we did it very early on as we were selling Define My Day. I mean, I was so self-conscious about it, and I still sort of am a little self-conscious about people in my personal life, about this direction we're going. But like somebody would say something online about it, we literally selling thousands of Define My Day books, and one person would make a bad comment or write a note in a return, and it would be devastating. Like I'm literally getting emails from people. This changed my life. Like I'm like nothing has ever worked before. I love this process. Like we're getting those emails, and I got one bad one, and I don't want to do it anymore. I want to give up. I've been there. I've been like it's, and I've had to go back to this Darren Hardy conversation a couple of times to understand that process. Like I literally have verifiable evidence that people are improving their lives, and one person improving their lives is worth it. But we literally have thousands of people changing their lives with Define My Day. And I was letting that one negative comment question all of it. It make me question all of it. And so that's something that I've worked through. And now, I'm so far beyond it. But for a long time, I would struggle with it, and it would stop me from doing videos and putting myself out there more and owning the fact that we are this. And like it took a while to get around that, and I know it's stopping a lot of people. It stopped me from making a lot of the changes in my life personally, and I really had to pull away from a lot of people because I wasn't comfortable making these changes in their presence, and it's hard. It's hard. We blow up negative comments. It's our brains are like attaching to that. Stacy says, "Thank you for inspiring me to dig deeper working out. Been floundering since the gym closed. Last few weeks, I dropped 12 pounds and 6% body fat. Wow, good for you. More progress than in a year. Finally on track. Yay, thank you." Stacy, that's amazing. That's amazing. Good for you. Good for you. Yeah, I'm so happy to see that. And I have a lot of work to do myself. My midsection is large and in charge, but we just got to do what we got to do to be moving. I'm glad to see you're getting those results. That's amazing. Good for you. Yeah, you deal that in your travel business. Yeah. Yeah, and I'm not. I mean, I'm not giving up. Believe me. If anything, we're doubling down on it. But I've been there. I've been there, and I think that we all are in a certain place in our lives. We're holding ourselves back because we're afraid of other people and what they think. But the problem, or the reality is, everybody's very worried about their own things, especially now. And in the end, the people that are there to point at you and say, "Oh, look, you failed," those are the people that you just need to say, "You know what? I didn't need you in my life anyway. You get out of here. Let me grow. You go. See you later." Yeah, absolutely. Way to go, Stacy. Very cool. Very cool. All right, I'm going to get on with my day. I need to tie up a lot of loose ends from this weekend, and I need to get on these videos so that I can get them up and scheduled for you for this week. We're going to be talking about affirmations this week, so check them out every day, and we'll be walking you through to help you improve your affirmations. I hope everybody has a great week this week. I will see you again live on Monday next week at 10 o'clock in the morning right here. I'll see you soon. Keep moving forward.